Your all-star daughter was on a suicide watch.
I think at first I thought, well, what did I do that, could have caused this?
Stacy Hollingsworth, an honors student at Rutgers University, had shown up at a campus hospital after counting out enough pills of a prescription medication to kill herself. She was confined immediately, and her parents rushed to be at her side.
What struck me when we walked in was the locked doors. And I remember standing in the room, which was barren, because they don't want anything in there that you could possibly use. So there were, no cords on the blinds, and it was freezing in there, but they wouldn't give her, I guess, a bunch of blankets because it was too long, because they might, hang themselves. It was awful. It was just...
Far from being an idyllic, carefree experience, college is increasingly stressful for students. A recent survey found nearly half of them reported feeling so depressed or anxious they couldn't function. Suicide is now the second leading cause of death for college students. In fact, suicide is increasing more among kids who go to college than those who don't.
On the 5th day of Stacy's hospitalization at the psychiatric facility on the Rutgers campus, Steve and Sharon took their only daughter home.
For months, didn't get out of pajamas. She stared at the ceiling sometimes.
It was heart-wrenching to see the most active of kids in the world being bedridden by a mysterious cause, mysterious to me at least.
At one point you thought you were going to have to put her in a group home of some kind.
Yes, because we couldn't be home to watch her all the time. It was extraordinarily draining for us. And I felt there was almost nothing else we could do for her, and that maybe she would get better care elsewhere where they could watch out for her safety, and maybe there would be group therapy, and maybe that would help.
They tried having Stacy take numerous antidepressant medications and other therapies too, but her depression appeared particularly intractable and nothing worked. Stacy was in no condition to return to Rutgers.
And we withdrew her, and then I thought it was all over. This was the end of all those dreams that a parent has for a child. She certainly wasn't going to live the life that I had hoped and expected her to live. She had so much to give, and I just said, it's all down the drain. She can't do it.
But it turned out their overachiever would work hard to triumph over even this. With the help of a therapist, Stacy began to open up, talking about her life to her parents and friends. She discovered a community of people online who were suffering as she was, as well as a world of information about depression and mental illness. Eventually, she found a medication that allowed her to function. After a 2-year absence, she returned to Rutgers and founded its first on-campus chapter of NAMI, the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill.
What do you understand about why it took you that long? Why do you think you waited?
In my mind, it's basically the stigma. If you remove the stigma from the picture, I would have come forward in an instant.
Stacy worked on ways to help fellow students overcome the fear and shame which often keeps them from coming forward, and to improve the quality of mental health services available to them. Sharon and Steve have had their own journey, reliving her adolescence, re-examining their parenting. They do things differently now.
She never really had a chance with us because we never opened the dialogue. And I think she knew how to disappoint us or worry us. She was the perfect child. Perfectionism can kill you.
Even with her treatment, Stacy says depression is still there and may always be.
You have a high rate of turnover with students.
Still, she graduated from Rutgers last May with a degree in psychology and is now working for NAMI in New Jersey.
Can you imagine nowadays that you could live a long and happy life?
I think for the first time now, I'm starting to see that I can live a life.
She's accomplished a lot. She's turned what I think is something really tragic into something really positive. She's a lotto. I won the lotto with her.
After years of keeping them in the dark, Stacy has a whole new relationship with her parents now. One she says is always honest and never taken for granted.
I'm grateful for every day that we have. I know that it could be taken away at any second.